Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. It's Sunday, the 17th of July, 2022. I'm Vinod from GrowWealth, and today we are looking at the stock market analysis and my watch list review for the next few days to come. I hope you're all well. Right, as usual, we'll start with the overall market direction with the index. This is NASDAQ on the weekly. It has closed with a dodgy candle. High volume, still below the T line on the weekly. If you look at the daily, however, the shorter term moving average, the T line and the 21 EMA have joined up. There's a confluence of it. The price is about the T and 8 EMA, that's the T line, and the 21 EMA, which is positive. So it is allowing the 50-day EMA to catch up as well. It still, nonetheless, is below the 50 EMA. So let me get the broader theme into clarified. So it is still in the stage 4 downtrend. We got quite a lot more things to do. The market needs to kind of work really hard and settle a base, and the time is needed before that changes from stage 4 to stage 1 and stage 2 uptrend. So currently we are in stage 4 downtrend. However, there is some attempt by the market to find some interim bottom, whether it's going to be the meaningful long-term bottom or just a pause before a retest of the recent low. We don't know. The broader macroeconomic indications are pointing more downsides are likely, but right now, over the last month or so, we've been going sideways, which is encouraging, and there are some new leaders setting up as well, showing some good relative strength. So that is the current situation with NASDAQ. And the S&P 500, similar stuff, prices above the T-line and the 21 EMA, but below the 50-day EMA. And let's look at the stocks that are in my watch list for the forthcoming few days. As per last week, even this week, there is a particular predominance on the biotech, healthcare sector, drug manufacturer, pharmaceutical company, showing some really good relative strength and strong price action in my stock screen. So that continues to stay as one of the leading sector at the moment. So we had a nice little shake out here. Price opened below the 50-day EMA, but quickly reclaimed that and closed above it. It did not close below the 50 EMA on the daily, which is significant, and now reclaimed the T line on the daily. And on the weekly, as you can see, it's just nicely consolidating above the T line on the weekly and found some support at the 21-week moving average. So it's still kind of maybe forming the right side of the base on the weekly chart here. AMN, healthcare services. Let me zoom out a little bit for you to see. It's consolidating and now coming on the right side of the base with high volume accumulation on the weekly. And on the daily, as you can see, it's about the 200-day moving average. And after a period of a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of consolidation, it's kind of trying to move up about that consolidation zone. ARQT, another biotech stock. It broke out about this pivot point at 22.1 and stays above it. So it's trying to kind of further its move into the new stage 2 uptrend. The volume is a little bit mixed, but the price is about this pivot point and also 50-week moving average as well. So the price is inclined in the right direction towards the upward facing direction. So this continues to be a bullish setup, and we would like to see much more convincing, persistent kind of buying coming into this name for us to be more confident. Bumble, BMBL, it's still below the pivot point here at 34.44, as you can see with this horizontal line, but the price has now reclaimed the 200-day moving average and now sitting just above the T-line, the 8-day moving average as well. So right now, the price is, the indicators are aligned in the right direction, except for the longer term moving average, the 200 is still above the 50 EMA. So we'd like to see that cross above to give us a golden cross. But right now it's kind of encouraging, and any price move on high volume about this 34.44 mark is positive. CELH Holdings. This is one of the strong names over the last couple of months, and has broken out of this interim pivot point at 72 and came and retested last week and found the T line on the weekly as a support. And on the daily, it broke above that kind of $72 mark, came and retested, as you can see, and has now using the T line on the daily, which is the 8-day EMA, as support, and nicely pushing up to the upside with some strong volume coming on Fridays, and also at the point of kind of breakout here. So this is quite strong. COWN, it broke out, consolidated for a couple of days, broke above the 200-day moving average, and ever since it didn't look back and kept marching its way to the upside with strong volume accumulation bias coming in on this name on the daily, and also on the weekly. It kind of broke out of the 50-week moving average and strong follow through volume action the next week, which was the last week that we just finished, giving us nearly 12% gain for the week. CRSP, it is, I think it's kind of restarting its stage 2 uptrend, having broken out of this pivot point at 70.4 with strong volume accumulation clues coming in. And on the daily, it broke out of that 200-day moving average, came and retested just for a brief moment on this day here on the 12th of July, and then it's moving to the upside using T line as support on the daily. DLTR, it has consolidated a little bit after this whipsawing action around the earnings using the 21-week EMA as support, and now it is given a doji candle for last week, but the price action, if you look at the bigger picture, is encouraging, and we would like to see whether it gives a flatter kicker signal to the bullish flatter kicker signal, because that's a bullish candle here, and then it's fluttering with a doji candle if we have another bullish candle next week, and that will be a bullish flatter kicker, bullish flatter kicker signal. So that will be one of the bullish signal to watch out for. BQ, it kind of pulled back along with the other solar names and EV names, but it's still above the 8-week EMA. It had a strong, nice move for nearly a couple of months now. So it's quite understandable that it is taking a bit of a pause, but this is not a broken stock. It's still one of the strong charts out there. Duolingo, recent IPO, still within the IPO base. And I drew this line on the daily as a pivot point when it kind of broke above that to see if it holds above it. Very next day, it gapped below that point. And also the 200-day moving average is probably acting as a resistance as well. But it found some natural support at the 50-day EMA here, and then trying to push up above that point now. So if this continues, as you can see on the weekly as well, the price is about the 8-week EMA. So I'd like to see this push up about that kind of horizontal line here, which is around $106 mark. And above that, it kind of gives us a reassuring factor that further upside is likely to come. FNCO, it broke out about this pivot point here, 22.19, and now it's consolidating. It gave us almost an inside week, last week. And the price is kind of stuck between the T line on the daily and the 21-day EMA. So if it break above the previous week's top, that'll be a good positive bullish sign. FTNT still within this consolidation zone. It has now allowed the key moving averages to come and confluence here. The price is above all of those key moving average, albeit it kind of went down by 4% last week. It hasn't broken down at all in the overall chart pattern. The price is still on the daily as well, still above the key moving averages, albeit just below the 200. So with some slight pressure easing off the market, the stock could find some more buyers and the upside to come. But mind you, we are just heading into the new earnings season, So that will probably determine the next direction of many of these stocks. HRMY, it is flirting with the all-time high price here. This at 52.81. It came and retested, but it closed above that particular level mark right now. So it's kind of consolidating this huge gain that it had from mid-May onwards. Still a positive looking chart and good fundamentals numbers as well. HT. So this is sitting just beneath this resistance point of 50-week moving average and 200-week SMA as well. If you move on to the daily, it is just sitting above the 200-day moving average and just at the T line as well. So it's just consolidating and kind of caught between this 200-day moving average and the 200-week moving average. So with if the market kind of is favorable, then this is likely to break above that and have further upside to come. But this is a significant resistance, so this could break down as well, as it did once a few times here using the 50-week moving average, which the price is just sitting at exactly at that level right now. So that is the level to watch. HUM, another healthcare stock, that it had broken out of the all-time high price at 475.44. It retested a few times over the last couple of weeks, as you can see here a bit more clearly on the daily. Now it gapped up above the 8-day EMA and above the previously held all-time high level of 475.44. And this happened at with a higher volume on Friday, which is a strong indication that more upside is likely, more buying is likely on this name. So this is one of the strong looking chart. IMXI, 22.86 is the all-time high price. It's flirting at that level to try and break out. Couldn't do that last week, gave us an inside week on above average volume, but below the previous week's volume. So it seems like it is still kind of taking a bit of a time to pause and consolidate and gather some momentum over the next few weeks before it kind of has another push up. LI, nothing wrong with this chart. It had a huge move until a month ago, and then for the last 4 weeks, it's just consolidating and is setting us a flag pattern. This is the pole here, over 100% move, and now it's a flag, the flag pennant pattern of around 12% breadth. So this is incredible looking flag pattern, and one that is bullish as well. The price has just reclaimed the 8 EMA as well on the daily. So one to watch closely. LLY, it is at the all-time high price, broke about the 314, which was the previous all-time high, and it's gradually marching further to its upside. LNTH, huge move over the last few months, 2 gap ups over the previous 2 earnings season. Next earnings season is on its way in 10 days time, and it is now setting a mini base here, mini cup, whether it will continue, whether it'll gap up again or gap down, to be seen after the earnings, but you need to have a separate trading strategy around the earnings date. But the chart is really bullish, and the numbers are quite strong as well for this stock. LW, this I believe has just got into the stage 2 uptrend, breaking out of this 69.77 pivot point into that kind of stage 2 point level, and it is also about the 200-week moving average. And on the daily, you could see it's kind of gently consolidating about that price point and about the key moving averages at the moment. Monster Beverage, MNST, it is close to the $99.89 mark, which is the all-time high price. So we had a bit of a profit taking, but not much selling that came in, just kind of whipsaw action in the week, giving us a doji candle. And as you can see, it's a tight price action as well during that period. But the price is still about 8-day moving average EMA and very close to the all-time high price. So this is one of the strong looking charts, and we'll be looking for the green line break for potential entry points. The next one is MOD. It's nice consolidation above the 50-week and 200-week moving average, and price closed above that with above the previous week volume coming in last week. So that's a nice setup actually on the weekly chart. And on the daily, it's kind of used the 250-day moving average as support and is trying to push through to the upside further. So the 50-week moving average, 50-day, 200-day moving averages is all acting as a support here. So that's the strong confluence of support to be mindful of. NBIX, it's still trying to break out of this descending trend line in the 200-day moving average, but hasn't done that yet convincingly. So that's the price point to monitor around $100 mark, $99.80 or $100 mark to break out of. NOC, this has been consolidating for many, many months, and this has tested my patience. And I got whipsawed a couple of times when I had an anticipatory kind of trade, expecting it will break out of this all-time high price, the green line. But it now had a bearish candle inside week, close below the 8 EMA on the weekly, which is not very promising. The MACD is negative, and on the daily, it has gapped down below the 50-day moving average, tries to reclaim it, but closed below it on higher than average volume. So far, it is giving some amber signs and not so positive indications. But nonetheless, the bigger picture is one of consolidation. If the buyers come in and it breaks out of this pivot point here at $492.31 on strong volume, that will give me more confidence that more upside is likely. But right now, it's watchful wait and not a trading setup yet. Oli had a good move, and it's just finding some kind of resistance perhaps at 200-day moving average. In view of the strong move it had over the last couple of months, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a little bit of pause over the next couple of weeks to allow the declining 50-week moving average to catch up and to allow some buying momentum to come in to break out of the 200-week moving average. PFGC is much more clearer on the daily chart. So it broke out of the 200-day moving average. Then for the last month and a half, it went sideways. Last month or so, nearly a month, it went sideways. And now it's breaking out of that consolidation zone on Friday on higher than previous day's volume, which is positive. And on the weekly as well, you could see it used the 50-week moving average as support to push to the upside. SAFM, it's still in the uptrend, stage 2, had some profit taking and finding some support at the 8-week moving average. So as long as that holds, it continues to be a good positive setup. SWAV, SWAV, it has just literally broken out of up above the descending trend line here using the 50-day moving average and 8-week moving average on the weekly as support. So it could consolidate and have further upside going forward. UTHR, nice uptrend near all-time high price using the T line on the weekly as support and ever since it broke out of the previous resistance point at 218.98. It is now has standard as a support at the moment. So further upside is possible if the market allows it to happen. The next one is VEEV. It's not as strong as some of the other healthcare technology stocks that we have seen, but it is sitting at the 200, just beneath the 200-week moving average, but above the 21 and 8-week moving average. On the daily, however, it's above the short-term key moving average, but below the 200-day moving average. So it could possibly kind of have a run until the 200-day moving average before it kind of takes another pause. And the penultimate one is VICI, VICI Properties. It had a huge kind of gap up and profit taking, came and retested the 200-day moving average, found some support around the 250-day moving average, and broke out about that previous pivot point and now continuing to gap up and continue its uptrend to perhaps try and reclaim the all-time high price at around $34 mark. And the last one is BRTX. It is consolidating at the and setting up a handle here, nice small cup and handle, and it's at the close to the top of the handle break. And if that happens with strong volume close, then quickly the all-time high price of $306.08 could very well be taken out. And this is quite strong looking chart. And again, another biotech company. So I hope it makes some sense. Remember, the market is still in the long-term bear market setup on stage 4 downtrend, but there are strong positive charts out there with in stage 2 uptrend, and biotech is one of them. So have a look at them, and I hope some of these analysis made sense, and how I analyze the stock and use the moving averages and chart patterns to improve my kind of edge. If you need to learn more about my approach, you can always contact me on the email mentioned in the backdrop. It's enquiries.growwealth@gmail.com. And if you want to know more about the service GrowWealth, please go and visit my blog, which is www.buymeacoffee.com/growwealth, or put some comment on the chat, and I'd like to hear if this is of use to you, and if you benefited from it, why don't you like, subscribe, and share with your contacts as well. Have a nice rest of the weekend and the best week going forward. Happy learning and successful investing. I see you in our next week's video. Bye-bye.